with impact as we give you positive affirmations, traffic updates, entertainment, fun trivia, and many more on Morning Impact. From 6 a.m. to 12 noon every day on High Impact 102.1 FM, your urban lifestyle station.
And I know it's gonna be a lovely day.
Welcome to impact 102.1 FM. Good morning once again. It's time for our newspaper review for today, Tuesday, 4th of August, 2026. And happy new month to you. If you're just joining us on the month of August, welcome to another edition of our newspaper review, where we take a comprehensive look at the major stories making headline across Nigeria. Thank you for choosing to begin this new month informed, entertained, and of course enlightened. My name is Arugundade Timitokwe. And as we know, a new month often represents a fresh beginning, an opportunity to reflect on, to reset, and of course to refocus. As we step into August, we know Nigerians continue to grapple with important issues bordering on governance, security, the economy, healthcare, politics, and of course national development. And the headlines before us this morning reflect that particular conversation about shaping the country and the decisions that could impact millions of lives. Today we will be reviewing the front pages of The Guardian, The Vanguard, The Punch, and of course the Daily Trust newspapers. And this morning we'll be starting off with The Guardian newspaper. Major headline on The Guardian says, post reforms, FG orders pass burden of economic growth stability to state governors. FG orders pass burden of economic growth stability to state governors. The lead story on The Guardian newspaper tells us that the federal government is increasingly placing greater responsibility on state governments to drive economic growth and of course sustain stability within their respective states. And this report is suggesting that while the federal government has introduced several economic reforms at the national level, governors are now expected to translate those reforms into tangible development through increased investment, improved internally generated revenue, infrastructure development, agriculture, industrialization, and job creation. And this message is very simple. Is that sustainable national growth cannot come from Abuja alone. No. States are now expected to become stronger economic centers capable of attracting investors, creating employment opportunities, and of course improving the welfare of their residents. Like we know, we have these ongoing discussions around the fiscal responsibility and the better coordination between the federal and the state governments, because Nigeria continues to pursue economic recovery and long-term stability. FG orders pass burden of economic growth stability to state governors, and you can get that story on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. Moving on to another story, we have dam to paperless as INEC unveils 5-year transformation roadmap. Jam to go paperless as INEC unveils 5-year transformation roadmap. I think they've gone paperless for some time now. If you want to know what the transformation is all about, you should grab a copy of the Guardian newspaper and go to news page 30 to get more information on that particular story. Moving on, we have federal government rallies public input on state police as report says death toll hits 5,091 in quarter 2. We know that there's a lot of debate on the state police that federal government is trying to create, and according to this report, the federal government is seeking a broader public participation before taking a final position on that proposal. And we are saying that Nigerians from different sectors are expected to contribute solely, their views, just their views on whether policing should remain under the federal government or whether states should establish and control their own police services. And we know that this development, it comes against the backdrop of alarming security statistics, and according to this report, more than 5,000 people reportedly lost their lives during the second quarter of the year due to insecurity. And this figure, it falls a lot of argument. Nigeria requires more, better, effective security structures capable of actually responding quickly to local threats. And this conversation around the state police, it has remained one of the country's most significant constitutional debates. And we are seeing supporters, we are seeing people that say, the governors are going to misuse it, they are going to use their power to threaten their opposition, threaten people. The lot of back and forth about this state police. If you want to talk about this, we need people to talk about this. The phone lines are currently opened. 090-7224-5018. I'll take that again. 090-7224-5018. You can call us in, you can text us via WhatsApp or SMS us. Anyhow you want to do it, you want to get your take about this state police. Do you believe that state police should be moved with, the proposal should be approved, or police should still be under the federal government? 090-7224-5018. FG rallies public input on state police as report says death toll hits 5,091 in the second quarter. You can get that story on news page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. Beneath that, we have Enugu church adoption shows no Nigeria is safe. Obi warns. Now we are seeing another issue about insecurity in the country, and the presidential candidate Peter Obi is reported to have reacted to the recent adoption inside a church in Enugu. And according to this report, Obi argues that the incident demonstrates that insecurity has spread beyond highways and rural communities into places like traditionally regarded as safe, including places of worship. We're seeing schools being attacked, places of worship being attacked. Like nowhere is actually safe any longer. Obi warns about the Enugu church adoption, and you can get that story on newspaper 29 of the Guardian newspaper. Oshun polls, I'm not under pressure, but don't trust police, says Adeleke. Ahead of the Osun State governorship election, Governor Ademola Adeleke says he's not under pressure and that he has expressed his reservation regarding the confidence in policing during the electoral process. And this statement, it comes at a time when there's intense political activities currently in the state. Election observers continue to stress the importance of neutrality by security agencies, transparency by electoral officials, and peaceful conduct by political parties during the election period. Osun polls, I'm not under pressure, but don't trust police. And this is coming from Adeleke. Underneath that story, we have Falana demands probe of suspicious deaths, warns against cover-ups. We are seeing that the human rights lawyer Femi Falana is calling for investigations into what he describes as suspicious deaths. And according to this report, he insists that every unexplained death deserves transparent investigation and accountability, while cautioning authorities against any attempt to conceal facts. And you can get that story on newspaper 29 of the Guardian newspaper. Right beneath the nameplate, we have Senate threatens sanctions as CBN, NUPRC, NDDC orders shun committee. We are saying that Senate is threatening sanctions as CBN, NUPRC, NDDC orders shun committee. And the Senate has warned that several government agencies, after officials failed to honor invitations from a parliamentary committee. Among the agencies mentioned are the Central Bank of Nigeria, the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, and the Niger Delta Development Commission. The legislature says that attendance before oversight committees forms part of constitutional accountability, and continued absence could attract sanctions. And you can get that story on news page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. Beside that, we have 767 factories shut, 335 others in distress under Tinubu's watch. Former Vice President Atiku alleges. We are seeing that the newspaper is telling us that the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, regarding manufacturing activities, is saying that alleges that hundreds of factories have either closed or are expecting severe operational difficulties. And these figures are presented as part of his assessment of the country's economic condition. 767 factories shut, 335 others in distress under Tinubu's watch. And you can get that on news page 3. And the last we'll be taking this morning on the Guardian newspaper says Nigerians, others lose $448 million to cyber attacks as Interpol warns of AI influence. And that story is on news page 5. And that's all we're taking this morning on the Guardian. We're currently live on YouTube at High Impact 102.1 FM. You can stream us and see what is going on in the studio. And like I said, you can always join the conversation by calling us in 090-722-450 or text us via WhatsApp or SMS 090-7224-5018. Moving on to the next paper that we'll be taking this morning, and that is the Daily Trust newspaper. Major headline of the Daily Trust says, we paid 50 million naira to secure Kebbi Judge release, and this is coming from the family. You can read some of the story on the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper and continue reading on page 3. Moving on, we have State Police Bureau ready for Tinubu's review September 3rd. State Police Bureau ready for Tinubu's review September 3rd. Right beneath the nameplates, we have 2027. Makinde, Fayemi, Oyinlola meet Obasanjo. And this is ahead of the general election in 2027. Makinde, Fayemi, Oyinlola meets Obasanjo, and that is on page 10 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Beside that, we have Oshun Adeleke seeks president's intervention on killings. We know that there's currently huge political activities going on in Osun State ahead of the governorship election, and we're seeing that the governor of Osun State, Ademola Adeleke, is seeking the president's intervention on killings, and that story you can get on page 10 of the Daily Trust newspaper. And the last story we're taking this morning on the Daily Trust newspaper says, Phantom cancel, ICPC concludes probe. ICPC concludes probe, and that story is on page 6 of the Daily Trust newspaper, and that's what we're taking this morning on the Daily Trust. Before we move on to the remaining two papers for today, we'll be going on a quick break. Do not go anywhere. I'll be right back.
Welcome to High Impact Planet Amusement Park, Resort and Hotel, Nigeria's world-class destination where excitement lives and memories never fade. Located along the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway in Ibafo, Ogun State, discover over 60 thrilling rides and attractions. Get to feel the rush and joy everywhere you turn. From coaster adventures to fun indoor games, it's the perfect spot for family time, school excursions, and unforgettable days out. Planning a team outing or corporate retreat? Enjoy our conference rooms and team bonding spaces designed to make every moment worthwhile. And when it's time to relax, unwind in our comfortable hotel rooms and service apartments with delicious meals. Because what we give is a complete experience. This is where magic happens. This is where memories are made. High Impact Planet. Fun just got real. Send us a DM on Instagram at High Impact Planet NG or call 0814-229-9509 to book your experience today.
Are you looking for an avenue to blast your brand? Why not let us be your detonator at High Impact Radio 102.1 FM with Got You Covered. For advert placement, sponsorship, partnership, call us on 0706 393 5694, 0915 958 1881, 0902 745 3931, or send an email to info@highimpactstudio.com.
Here Impact.
Hello.
Which is longer on Venus, a day or a year?
A day on Venus is longer than a year on Venus.
Thank you, High Impact.
You're welcome.
Secure the future.
At High Impact Studios, we serve a platter of excellent services. Want to know what we offer? Get into our world of impeccable delivery, from premium audio production, excellent voiceover artistry, to a versatile space for all kinds of photo and video shoots. Our quality event coverage and cinematography professionals will give you an excellent coverage of all your memorable events. Our OB van is available for live streaming all your outdoor productions. Enjoy the high impact effect. Contact us today on 0706 393 5694 or 0915 158 1881, or send a mail to info@high-impactstudios.com. High Impact Studios, the future.
Hey, High Impact.
Hi, how may I help you?
Okay, so I'm just wondering, is there any organ in my body that can actually regrow.
I hope you don't have any problem with any organ of your body. However, the liver is that organ in your body that can regrow. That's why half of it can be transplanted even when we have one.
So I can literally sell half of my liver and make money. Okay, thank you.
Well, probably.
The high impact of Lagos.
Welcome back. You're listening to High Impact 102.1 FM. Welcome to the second half of the newspaper review for today, Tuesday, 4th of August, 2026. In the first half, we looked at the Guardian newspaper and the Daily Trust newspaper. For the second half, we'll be looking at the Vanguard and the Punch newspaper. And we'll be starting off the second half with the Vanguard newspaper. And before we do that, we are currently live on YouTube at impact 102.1 FM. You can join us to see what's going on in the studio, and you can also join the conversation by calling us in, texting us via WhatsApp, or texting us SMS or SMSing us 090-7224-5018. I'll take that again, 090-7224-5018. Major headline on the Vanguard newspaper this morning says Nigerians' quality of life took us to Tinubu, and this is coming from Ona Iyekon. We have two writers to the story. Says we are done talking, and the second writer says tell president to govern better. According to this report, the respected cleric says that the realities facing many Nigerians informed the decision to engage President Bola Tinubu directly. It reportedly notes that discussions have moved beyond complaints to practical engagement. And while urging the president to continue working towards improving governance and the overall welfare of citizens, the report actually centers on the dialogue between the national leaders and government over issues affecting ordinary Nigerians. You can get that particular story on page 9 of the Vanguard newspaper. Moving on to another story we have for the PFIPC. Allow me testify, I'm being made scapegoat. And this is coming from Adeyemi. And we have one writer to the story. Seek administrative clearance to appear before reps panel. This is a major political story, and it focuses on the ongoing investigation surrounding the PFIPC. Matthew Adeyemi reportedly says that he wants the opportunity to personally appear before lawmakers. And according to this report, he argues that he is unfairly being blamed and seeks administrative clearance that would enable him to testify before the investigative panel. And this development comes as the legislative investigations into the matter actually continue. Allow me testify and being made scapegoats. And you can get that story on page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper. Moving on to another story, we have NEC approves refinancing of $3.3 billion project Gazelle to optimize costs, unlock additional liquidity. We are seeing that the National Economic Council have reportedly approved the refinancing of the $3.3 billion project Gazelle. And according to Vanguard, the objective is to optimize financing costs while unlocking additional liquidity for the government operation. And we are seeing that this lies on the efforts aimed at improving financial management and creating more flexibility for national economic progresses. And we are hopeful that this is actually going to be beneficial for the ordinary citizen, and it's not just going to be something that we see on paper that, oh, the economy is doing better, but the citizens are actually not doing any better. And you can get that story on page 19 of the Vanguard newspaper. Beside that, we have APC Adeleke clash over notorious criminals protection, and we have one writer to the story. Oyebamiji unveils 100-day agenda targets workers' welfare, and that story you can get on page 25. The newspaper is telling us that there's an exchange between the All Progressive Congress and the Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke regarding the allegation connected with the protection of criminal elements. And this issue, it has become another point of disagreement as political activities ahead of the governorship election continue to gather momentum in the state. And you can get that story on page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper. Page 25 of the Vanguard newspaper. Beside that, we have what Tinubu told me after staff member died in my residence, and this is coming from Umahi. The Minister of Works, David Umahi, recounts a conversation with the President Bola Tinubu following the death of one of his staff members. And according to this report, Umahi shares details of the President's response during that difficult period. You can get what the President told David Umahi on page 45 of the Vanguard newspaper. Right above the nameplate, we have FCCPC 6 Uniform Consumer Protection as states open electricity markets. FCCPC 6 Uniform Consumer Protection as state open electricity markets. You can get that story on page 19 of the Vanguard newspaper. Moving on to another story, we have 2027 Nigerians not Obasanjo decide election. Nigerians not Obasanjo will decide election, and this is coming from the ADC. The African Democratic Congress says the outcome of the 2027 presidential election will ultimately be determined by Nigerian voters rather than by endorsement or opinions from influential political figures. And the statement shows that there's a continuing political positioning as parties gradually prepare for future elections. Nigerians, not Obasanjo, will decide election, and this is coming from the ADC, and you can get that on page 9 of the Vanguard newspaper. Beside that, we have economic summit. Shetima, Okonjo-Iweala, Elumelu, others seek investment for Delta. The newspaper is telling us that Delta Economic and Investment Summit, where national and international stakeholders discussed investment opportunities across key sectors. And the summit focused on attracting capital, encouraging private sector participation, improving infrastructure, and expanding economic opportunities within Delta State. And you're seeing that Shetima, Okonjo-Iweala, Elumelu, others are seeking investment for the state, and that is on page 10 of the Vanguard newspaper. And the last story we're taking this morning on the Vanguard newspaper says, I pity Tinubu but more concerned for Nigeria, and this is coming from Olawipo Asim. It's telling us that businessman and politician Gbenga Olawipo Ashim is saying that he sympathizes with the challenges confronting the president, and his greater concern remains the overall condition of Nigeria and the welfare of its citizens. And we have this ongoing national conversations around government and development. It's like it keeps going. It keeps going because it's like we're not seeing any improvement, we're just seeing things getting worse every day. And you can get that story on page 49 of the Vanguard newspaper. And that's what we're taking this morning on the Vanguard. Moving on to the Punch newspaper, major headline on the Punch newspaper says 2027 Tinubu, Atiku, Obi weigh ex-governors for campaign DG roles. And we have 3 riders to the story. Uzodinma Al-Makura, Tambuwa among frontrunners for presidential campaign DGs. The second rider says INEC opens 2027 presidential campaign August 19th. Obi may pick campaign DG from Southwest. And the last rider says APC, ADC, NDC to unveil presidential campaign teams next week. And that story you can get on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. Moving on to another story, we have Tinubu to review State Police Bill September 3rd. We saw this particular story on the Daily Trust newspaper, and we are also seeing it here. Tinubu to review State Police Bill September 3rd, and it's on page 29 of the Punch newspaper. Beneath that, we have Labour gives federal government August 11 ultimatum over wage award. Labour gives federal government August 11 ultimatum over wage award, and that is on page 7 of the Punch newspaper. Beneath that, we have 30 years after Atlanta Gold have not been rewarded, and this is coming from Bonnie Frere. 30 years after Atlanta Gold have not been rewarded, and that story is on page 30 of the Punch newspaper. Moving on to the last story we're taking this morning on the Punch newspaper says, storm over fake agency probe as reps prepare final report. Storm over fake agency probe as reps prepare final report. And that story you can get on page 26 of the Punch newspaper. And that's what we're taking this morning on the Punch. And that concludes our review on today's major headlines from The Guardian, The Punch newspaper, The Vanguard, and The Daily Trust newspapers. And as always, I need you guys to remember that the headlines introduces the story, while we give a broader and better context on the stories. Staying informed enables we Nigerians to actually better understand the national issues and, of course, participate meaningfully in conversations that shape the country's future. So we need to know how to distinguish between fake stories, misinformations, and know what's actually going on in our country, so that we can have better arguments, we can pick better people to represent us, because I believe that many Nigerians are not actually informed because they just really do not care. We need to know how to participate in things like that, and I hope that everybody that is eligible to vote actually has their PVCs with them and are ready to carry out that right that they have. And that's what we're taking this morning on the newspaper review. My name is Arugundadi Timitokwe, and this is our Impact 102.1 FM. Do not go. Today is Tuesday, August 4th, and we have a lot packed for you for the Money Impact show, and I'm sure you do not want to miss any part of it. Do not go anywhere. I'll be right back.
Hello there. Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
Start your day with Impact as we give you positive affirmation.